David Smith here with one more Flip Classroom Casino Night video. A few thoughts before we get started. Please understand that some people get into trouble with gambling for money, and often they end up losing way more money than they can afford to lose. Don't let that be you. This video is provided for fun purposes. My attempt is to teach you how to play some fun casino games for chips, not for money. And anyway, what's better than a fun game between friends? I appreciate all of your attention and effort learning all the casino games we've been learning over the last few weeks. I'm hoping that you're excited and you feel ready for casino night. It's going to be a blast. I want to do a quick summary review of our two more complicated games, namely blackjack and poker, and then talk a little bit about the other three games that we're playing as well. So first off, remember, with blackjack, the goal is not to get as close to 21 as possible. The goal is to beat the dealer. You might need to remind your players of this so they can play more effectively. The second thing to remember about blackjack is the dealer's up card should influence whether or not you take a risky hit from the deck. If the dealer shows a 5, then you can assume the dealer is most likely going to bust, and you can avoid hitting a risky hand like a 16 or a 14. Remember that when you're dealing, as soon as somebody gets a blackjack, call out blackjack, and as soon as you finish dealing, you want to pay them right away. And remember, you pay them 3-2, not 1-1. The last thing I want to remind you about blackjack is when you have a face card or an ace showing as the dealer, you need to check for a blackjack. If you do have one, you want to lay it out right away, and if you didn't push with anybody, you're going to win all the bets. Now let's talk a little bit about poker. Now remember that there's definitely skill involved, there's luck involved, there's knowledge involved, but at the basic level, at the most intense level, poker is a psychological contest between players. You got to remember to bluff. Be sure you do that, and be sure you get caught bluffing. You need to establish that you bluff. If you don't do that, then players will know when you have something and they'll know when you don't. Don't stay in to the end of every hand. Folding is a natural part of playing poker. Most players will fold more often than they will stay in. Now, you have to know the poker hands. You have to know how they're ranked, and you have to know how they're compared. This is basic essential knowledge for poker. Now, as the dealer, you can share all of these ideas with your players. If you notice that they would benefit from some advice, feel free to give them some advice. Also, as the dealer, you need to track the pot. You need to make sure the bets are correct and that all your players know what to throw in when asked. Finally, help your players have fun. This is the whole purpose of this night, is to have a good time playing cards. Let's talk about roulette. Now remember, roulette is not a good game to play if you go into a casino to win, but it's flashy and glamorous and people are drawn to the roulette table. So if you're playing that table, let that flash and that glamour and that excitement come out. Just don't expect your players to win a lot. And then remember, bingo. There's only one important choice in bingo, and that's which card you get. And given the random of the game, that probably doesn't matter a whole lot either, but people have fun with that, so live it up at your bingo table. So you can see all of our props for playing. We've got our bingo set up. We've got some roulette stuff with a little roulette thing, and we've also got our poker chips, our roulette chips, and of course the cards that we use to play so many poker and blackjack games. All right, let's review two important rules, and you guys are on the hook for making sure these are followed. The first one, no chip sharing. Players cannot share their chips. This is an individual contest, so players who team up and share their chips out or into one pile and then try to win the contest with that one pile, that's not allowed. So if people are sharing chips, they will be disqualified. Now, even down to the table level, let's say I go out during a hand of blackjack, I want to play one more so I get an extra chip from my buddy next door. That's not going to help me win the contest, but still, we don't allow it. If that person plays in that hand that affects the outcome of that hand. And technically they already lost. Remember, each person starts with $100 in chips, and when they're all gone, they are out of the contest. The other one is you've got to keep to the table limits and the rules of your game. So don't just decide to go no limit or to decide to give somebody an extra card in a poker game or anything like that. You've got to stick to the game rules and the limits. We do have a high stakes round at the end of the contest. The last half hour, 45 minutes, we increase the limits, but you've got to keep to those limits. Don't increase your limit until you're told to do so. All right, so the next time I see you guys, we're going to be in Brady Hall and we're going to be giving our VVS event called Casino Night. Now that you've watched the video, take a moment to review what you learned in your mind and make sure you have a good grasp of this game. You can always watch the video again if you want to go over some of the finer points. And if you enjoyed the video, please click like or subscribe.